stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
We do not forget. Expect us.
This is a message to all supporters. A message to all freedom fighters, to all dissenters, to all forgotten. A call to all intellectuals, to all journalists. A call to all freethinkers. A call for intelligence. This is a call to all poets. A call to the strong and the weak. A call to all young people. To the wise, to the astucious. We want you to join us. We are on the streets of Tokyo. In the skyscrapers of New York. In the lanes of Paris. In the cellars of Munich. On Moscow's icy places. On the cobbled streets of Dublin. This is a call to all people. To the youth. Join us in the fight for freedom of information. Search for us, and you will find us. We are among you. We are you. Everyone you speak with can be a member of Anonymous. We have no leaders, only an orientation. We have no targets, only results. You cannot stop us, because we are an idea. We cannot be eliminated, because we are invisible. If you try to mock us, we will mock ourselves. If you try to slander us, we will accept the defamation. We are the king's jesters with daggers. We are the dancing bear which tears to pieces the laughing mob. We are Anonymous. We are Legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us, just as we expect you.
councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
right, Obama's
Welcome,
for the
wait,
people.
guys.
We're all gonna get.
Welcome to Anonymous Bites Back, episode 133. We have a guest coming up. We're hoping he'll come. Commander X. He said he was going to come on, so he does. He might show up a little later into the call.
He does have a lot going on, though.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully, I don't want to talk about any of it because he might be coming on. I want to talk about it. I'm excited.
Yeah, but he's been working on something cool, so he'll announce it. He'll probably announce it today.
So hurry up, Commander, and advertise your shit.
Put in work.
So I do want to we do want to get to the Bush thing today, but is there something kind of pressing that's been going on again
Alex,
with our
it's
Facebook?
9 o'clock now.
Sorry, guys.
But
9 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, so I got a notice from Facebook saying that now, because of the Russian interference and all of that, I got an email from Facebook saying that now all content creators, their locations will be advertised publicly to the user for transparency. So here's the deal, like, I don't now they want the content creators to say where they are, have a phone number, have an ID, have my user data sent all over every fucking place. Now Zuckerberg got caught this week in UK. They subpoenaed him, and Zuckerberg had to fork over some emails. I think from 2012 to 2018, and it was found out that Zuckerberg knew about the data sharing that was going on, and he was picking and choosing which developers he wanted to have access to all of his data. So he knew about the Android flaw, where users were if you had an Android phone and the Facebook app on it, your call logs were your calls and your texts were being recorded on Facebook and sent back to Facebook. If you want to download your profile, you'll be able to see that stuff in some of the file structure. I don't know exactly where. But
somebody has your nudes.
He knew about that, and he also knew about how much access these guys had to the user data. And for some of the users, like Netflix, Amazon, and some of the major players, he had sent Uber and Lyft. He had given 100% access to all of the user data to anybody they wanted to. So if you think you're safe on Facebook, I'm telling you, like I've been saying this for over a year, Facebook is in decline. It will be a flopped platform. That's
won't be long.
That's my rant.
That's your rant.
Is that like the news for today? I just want to say that Viva la France, and Zuckerberg is not going to be able to save Macron now.
No.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with just knowing demographics. Like, we know why they collect this information, and that's to sell you shit. So if they know, the people that are in this area are watching this, right? They make advertisements specifically for that area, which is why they want to know all of that information. Every little detail, for the simple reason is they want to sell you stuff. That is it. And that information, your personal information, your buying habits, your sleep habits, when you're awake, what time, all of that crap is only used to better sell you things you don't want. That's it. Like, the whole game is just set up to sell you crap. That's so, like, I don't know, it's annoying to me when there's so much that could be done with social media, and the whole thing is just engineered to collect your personal information, everything about you, your demographics, male, female, straight, gay, blah, 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 all of it, so that they can custom make advertisements to sell you stuff.
Yeah, but remember, Facebook is also like selling your data, but they don't decide what these companies actually will do with the data afterwards. So.
Oh no, they don't care.
Yes.
But they only do one thing with it.
Well, here's the deal: is that Mark Zuckerberg on these emails, they discussed several times, should we charge for Facebook or should we sell user data to fund the platform? And he would rather do the latter, the sneaky stuff, to fund the platform.
Sneaky snake.
Yeah, deny, delay, deflect.
Well, I mean, you don't have to sell user data to fund your platform. What you do is
if you're as unpopular as Facebook, you probably do.
Well, what
like
you can do, you can put in commercials like they've been doing, and people will pay for that. You know, companies will pay some big dollars if you have a guy with a really big following. You know.
Oh well, no, you can't. That's not their you can't. Come on, you can't charge companies, right, to run your platform and not make the amount that they're taking, right? They work for the companies. The companies don't work for them. So that dynamic is definitely not there. So yeah, they could easily run their platform with just the corporations that, if you want to advertise a Ford truck on there, it's going to fucking cost you, right? Or whatever you want to advertise on there, but that's not how they work.
$100,000 on a fucking car advertisement, go ahead, I mean that will definitely get people, but you don't have to fucking sell, Susie G and where she lives and her phone number and her fucking identification, all that shit. Her likes.
There's no user support though. So I mean, normally when you've got a platform that is user supported, the people that are on it love using it, all of it, like Wikipedia was. Right now, Wikipedia almost went all the way under, and then they said, "Look, we're keeping this free. We're not playing with all of the games. It's all user content, user funded." And it turned it around from exactly that. They have loyalty with the people that use Wiki. We all kind of use it, so we all have that little bit of loyalty to them. Facebook has none of that. If Facebook got on today and said, hey, everybody has to put in $10 if you like using it, everyone's saying, no, fuck you guys, right? You censor us constantly. Get bent. Nobody would give them money.
Yeah, and I feel sorry for the content creators that are still on there and that their main breadwinning and how they're doing it. I mean, if you follow Nas Daily, I watch him. He has a lot of cool videos. But honestly, he's lingering on a platform that's in decline. Anyway.
Well, I will say, slowly but surely, I mean, it's been taken over by even the things that some of the stuff that seems like it's new content is really not. Behind the scenes, a lot of it's coming from the same places, especially when it comes to, political content. It seems like it's real diverse, but it's been all gobbled up and bought by the parties. The DNC specifically, they have infiltrated and bought every single page they possibly can.
Or no,
I saw Rehash.
Yeah.
But they pay for that.
Yeah. Zuckerberg struck a deal with them,
Well, I mean, when you look at it, okay, let's say, I mean, it's a huge amount of user data that people don't understand. So if they buy some of the Bernie pages that I've on, so they've came in recently, right, and just bought the pages, paid off the other admins drop off, right, and that's it. Now they have control. They'll post whatever they want, couple of Clinton memes, every 1,000 normal memes until they, try to get her in the consciousness of the American people or whatever.
Well,
yeah, right.
Well, he's in some deep shit now because, the emails prove that he lied to Congress, So, I mean, it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before Zuckerberg lands on a criminal case, somewhere along the lines.
When they're done using Facebook and they've moved on to the next thing, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of remember, they were going to charge Microsoft. They're always going to charge any of these people. They never, okay, well, we're gonna charge you $10 million. $10 million, nothing. Hold on, let me go. I got it in my office. $100,000 for breaking international law. All right, sorry guys. Woo, my bad.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not. One of these days something's gonna land on him. Criminal wise.
There's so much that's I don't know. He's so intertwined with I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Facebook is used as such a tool by so many different people. I think maybe they would shoot themselves in the foot, but I think a lot of it is not real, right? They need Facebook to collect that data, right? So the chances of them shutting down Facebook, I think, are pretty slim.
No, it'll turn into a MySpace. It'll be there, but there'll only be so many users on it, you know?
Yeah. Once we get
it's
like
not for selling products, anyways. Hey, they're just looking to sell something. That's all. Toilet paper.
Oh, John's. All right, and maybe we should go back to the French protest. Guys?
Yeah. You're talking about the Yellow Vest party.
Yeah. I think we lost Preston.
Yeah, we lost Preston.
That's weird.
And it was suddenly all silent. You were like the only one talking.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, and he dropped out. Yeah, just quickly about Facebook. Still, yeah, they are just selling the data and to all these companies, and these companies, yeah, maybe in 10 years you'll find out where your data went. So be happy about that. Like,
well, I mean, it's going where it's meant to go. Right, these companies are buying it off. They'll pay to have a leak stay open, right? So you'll know that there's a flaw in the system, right? A flaw or in the programming that allows you to get this user data. If you pay the right amount of money, they'll leave that flaw open until you collect all of it, and then we'll find it. We'll put out a new patch.
Do you remember?
Yeah, but then you're talking about like 10,000s of companies. Will they have like the full rights to this data? So can they resell it again? And
yeah.
Then what happens? Like,
well, that's the thing with the leak. After that, they can't tell who it went to. You know, it goes to the same. It goes to the same people. I mean, who else is going to benefit from having millions and millions and millions amount, you know, of files of user data?
Mm-hmm. Can you imagine these are the worst kind of people who actually have this?
Yeah, it's the same people that are always collecting huge amounts of user data that probably don't need it.
Yeah.
You can call them criminal whether they're political or you know, whether they're private or government criminals, but really the same people.
Yeah.
And they all work together. If you want to know what the Russian people think, you can go to a Russian data collection agency, right? And they will sell you information. If that's a criminal element, it's a criminal element. If it isn't, it isn't. But if you're looking for it, they can get it for you.
Yeah.
You want to know what they buy, what they feel, what TV shows they're watching, right? Which parts of those TV shows were the highest rated, so you can continue to work on that through your propaganda stream. Like, this is all used to the user data is all used for the same thing. If you're looking for it, right, there's somebody selling it.
Yeah.
And on the big end, those holes in a lot of these systems are put there on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, actually, I want to get back to something. Ted Cruz, when he was being interrogated in Congress, asked him about the Android flaw. You know, whether he knew about it or not. He said no. The emails say otherwise.
Well, I mean, it was from Ted Cruz. What? I don't know. Why are we always so surprised when you're like, oh, hey, the people that are always lying to you, they're still lying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well, we redacted all of this information in the memos and TV and information that you get, because if we knew that information, it would tear America apart. Well, that's obviously the information I need to know.
Yeah.
What did you do that's so horrible that I can't know about it? Give me the list of things that you would think, oh, I probably shouldn't know about that. In this investigation, what was what is it, Comey? They put, you know, they kind of leaked the memo and then redacted everything. What part of that investigation do you think I shouldn't know about?
Well, the part with all this criminal activity, that'd be very embarrassing for them.
Yeah. Oh, well, but I mean, then why release it at all? Like, oh, you know, we just took off all the criminal shit that we did. Well, I know it's criminal shit because you blacked it out. That's the stuff you don't want me to know about.
Well, it's a diversion, too, because the truth is, if he did it all, he can't use classifications to cover up the fact of whatever he did. So that's another crime. So, you know, just go after the guy. He's a criminal. You know, it's like, quit fooling around.
Yeah, I think I can handle it. You know, the whole "you can't handle the truth." I can handle it. Don't worry.
Yeah. No. You know what the real problem is? he can't handle the truth, because if it ever comes out, he's going to jail. You know?
Yeah, I very rarely, when they release something and you see all of these things redacted, you think, well, why wouldn't I be able to know that? It was kind of with the JFK thing when they released all that information. Oh, well, we took them out so you don't know the mafia hitmen we were working with. Well, I mean, that's all you blanked out was the mafia hitmen you were working with. Like, the whole thing was fine, and then you get to the part where they're like talking to mafia hitmen, and we're just gonna blank all of that out. Oh, I remember how we were saying how this was all fake and blah 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 blah. Yeah, we're just gonna redact all of that. Are we gonna go over? I mean, the embassy has now said that Assange has to leave.
Yeah, I did read about that. You know, Moreno says that he has to go. He didn't say how he wanted to go. There was a contract that he wanted Julian to sign, but Julian wouldn't sign it because he could not define what liberty meant in the contract. So he wants him gone. Moreno wants him gone, but there's nothing he can legally do to kick him out.
But the UK government isn't going to extradite him because he's facing the death penalty for whatever information he's posted. I think that's going. They're going to
like 30 years or something. Yeah, that's what it's looking like. Yeah.
Yeah, I love how we're outraged about one set of journalists and then not outraged at the other. Like they get to choose which one you're outraged about, which ones you're outraged about.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're really upset about the Khashoggi murders. Jesus, right?
And they lied so much about what's actually happened to him. I don't believe anything I have read at all.
Well, I'm pretty sure the Saudi government had him killed. That is kind of what they do.
That's what the CIA says too. The CIA said the same thing.
But they're saying they poured him down the sink, they melted him, poured him down the sink, buried him in the garden, carried him out in 16 different pieces of luggage, and
That sounds like something they would do. That sounds about. I mean, like, does it? The deal is the only people that are shocked. I don't know who would be shocked about this. The Saudi government has people killed. Our government has people killed. Is this some sort of like? You got to be kidding me.
There's an entire genre of movies dedicated to our government.
Yeah, I mean, just watch any movie right now. I mean, are you serious? You didn't know that the Saudi government had people killed?
All the time.
Like, literally all the time. Like, today, right now, probably several people. They fucking cut that woman's head off on the 2-3 days after this whole story broke in the middle of the street because she killed a guy that was raping her. Didn't even inform her family that she was being executed. Just cut her head off. Boop.
Yeah, that's how it goes there. But they cut off your hand if you steal an apple. So yeah.
You get caught spying, you lose 2 or 3 fingers.
Depends who you're spying for.
Well, I don't see. I mean, our back-end server reset.
I'm
hold
sure
on,
it did.
Let me see what happened.
Let me give a warning to our listeners, Dan, because we added the Yellowfest hashtag to the show.
We are live on Facebook, Twitch. Now, let me see. I don't know if these other platforms will go back online.
Well, Twitter looks like, not Twitter, but YouTube looks like it's still running.
Fuck.
Yeah, well, Google is censoring all Yellowfest stuff, so we can expect this.
All right, Periscope went back online. What about YouTube?
We're in YouTube. Commander X is in YouTube.
Oh, outstanding. No, but this is going to be, I mean, that's just part number one of just watching this show, really, is that there's an active, concerted effort to censor the things that we're saying. For one reason or another, one group or another, one issue or another, one day or another, right? We're always being censored in one place at a, for one reason. So just
okay, we're back online on YouTube. YouTube listeners, our server reset, so sorry about that. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just like we are going to be censored. So for the people that we do apologize, but there is an active, concerted effort to censor us.
Yeah.
With this one, we know, I mean, we posted it anyway because it's that important, right? We have to stand up against this censorship. But the Yellow Vest hashtag is there, you know, they're censoring it specifically to keep the idea of unity from spreading. That is scary shit to them.
Yeah, and they can censor us, but they can't silence us, right? So we will just be here and we can just say "Vive la France."
Yeah.
No, but the Google has censored everything related to the Yellow Vest. If you do searches on it, you find like you don't even find Yellow Vest, you find Orange Vests on top.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
but if you guys, you know, if something's happening in the news, we talked about this before, if something's happening in the news that's, you know, a stupid celebrity bullshit or whatever the next quick hashtag is, hashtag it as that. So it pops up as, you know, whatever, like I said, whatever stupidness gets on that goes viral, right? The cat playing piano hashtag, hashtag it as that so that the message gets out underneath another hashtag. And when people search for that hashtag, it's one of the things that pop up.
You got to constantly rotate them hashtags. It's that shadow banning.
Yeah, they'll shadow ban it, and you just everything that says, you know, hashtag resist or hashtag whatever we're using, they censor it.
Well, you know what you do is when they censor it, you just put in special characters on top of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You mean like
yeah, you know what
X's or
yeah, you know when they put all the special characters, you know, like so the letters look like they're on top of each other. You don't know what I'm talking about. That's okay.
What?
Yeah, like you're crossing them out.
Yeah.
Given enough time, we'll find holes in every single one of these systems, and that it's always been that way. Look, they have never been able to silence us. We're here today because they've never been able to silence us. Right? They used to cut off your head, cut off your hands, beat you, flog you, drown you, fucking light you on fire. You know what I mean? All the million horrible torture the fuck out of you, right? For any sort of free thought, and yet they have never been able to silence us.
No, the Commander X has a request for you guys. If you're listening, you can sign up to his site anongrid.cf, and he will activate you live on air. Like this will be his thing he wants to do today. So
yeah, I was playing with it today. I had a little difficulty getting on there, but once I figured out how the program worked,
yeah, they made you a woman, Tyler.
I know why.
Hey! It's 2018. It's 2018.
And assume your gender.
He's from you're in California, right? So I mean, that's just normal.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, isn't it?
That's not what I said. I said, oh. Did you not hear me?
Well, you self-identify as X, Y, and Z, you know?
Well, yeah, you can be anything out there. I mean,
you can be a Precambrian.
Oh,
man,
yeah. Commander X said he'll fix it. He'll fix it. Yeah, I think, you know, it might have been user error when it said which gender you want. I might have accidentally clicked on female. I wasn't.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
I wasn't like I wasn't fully awake when I was doing it. I was like half asleep. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try and make an account right now so I can check it out. So.
They wanted to know your gender, not your sexual preference.
That's okay.
Damn. He still thought it was the porn that he fell asleep to. He was like, oh yeah.
Hot blondes.
Let me see what else is going on. We got the. Should we talk about the Bush thing?
We have to.
Okay, talk about it.
We have to. Okay, first of all, we don't have fake media. We have plastic media. Right? If there is any time that Fox News and CNN agree on the same issue and say the exact same thing, be scared, right? It is not real. Whatever they are telling you is completely false. Think of the times when Fox News and CNN march to the same tune, right? It's never a good sign. Like, that should be red flag number one. Red flag number 2. Look, we kind of posted this earlier. If you don't want people to call you a war criminal, you should kill less innocent people.
Yeah, he also...
Yeah, you should commit less war crimes. You shouldn't undermine people for fucking... For raisins.
Bush,
for raisins.
Bush
Are you out of your mind?
Bush was also a big into the New World Order. And he made a speech, like... Was it 91?
9/11, 91.
Yeah.
As we usher in a new world order.
Yeah, that was like a creepy speech, man.
No, thank you.
No skull and bones.
Yeah, you thought you were being abused now? Just wait. We got a deal for you. It's called the New World Order.
Read my lips. No new taxes for the rich. Like, he wasn't lying. Wouldn't be prudent. Come on, so, we did. Larry's, to be honest, Bush is every bit as bad as Putin. Like, the demon that they make Putin, as far as being a cold-hearted torturer, killer, all of that shit, like, the fact that the only people that truly have nice things to say about you are either being paid to or related to you.
I guess we just got a troll in our YouTube chat. Yeah. Yeah.
Where's he at?
He's just talking. He's just talking shit. That's okay.
What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? We never get to talk to our trolls, and I think that it's important.
Like, Arthur Wolf, if you wanna talk shit, next time you talk shit, just get some fucking hack skills instead of fucking using script kiddie shit.
Call it a comeback.
Yeah.
I don't see him. Is he on our YouTube?
Yeah.
Where is our buddy?
Oh yeah, he's like how we stole the show from a guy with autism.
Yeah.
Who did we steal it? Come on.
They're trying to say
you can't steal free information.
Now come on, everybody knows we bought it from him. That's a lie. We didn't steal it.
It was bought fair and square.
No new pages.
No, there's actually nobody owns anything. This has always been a group project.
Yeah, I don't know what that. Yeah. I don't understand what that means.
I had a gun. I remember when I was broadcasting the show, and I had a gun to my head, and I got fucking robbed live on the show. Like, I got some dedication to this shit.
Yeah, I don't buy that. And it's one of those things. Look, you could have invented the horse and buggy, right? We're trying to take this to rocket ships.
Yeah.
well, here's the thing. I mean, the truth is, he doesn't own it because Mark Zuckerberg owns it. He says it all the time. It's not your shit, So
none of this is on us, and I think that's a problem. That's a problem that they've had to begin with any movement that has that quality. Where look, we don't own any of this. None of us are anonymous, right? Do you know anonymous? What the fuck does that mean? Right? Like, none of us are anonymous. We don't own it. We don't move it. We're working together because we believe in a common good. Yeah. Other Anons join us because they believe in a common good. Other Anons don't join us because they believe in something completely different. Yeah, right?
We don't make money off of this show. In fact, oh my God, all of the stuff for the streaming end, I've all paid for myself. I don't.
Oh, and there are groups out there that would pay us a substantial amount to shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I talk to the guy all the time, so he's not really that upset about it. He just wants to, come on the show sometimes, and that can't happen with a drinking problem. I mean, I love the guy to death, but can't be drunk.
Yeah, and that's just like we are trying. I joined this. It's just an interview to begin with.
Yeah, we've always had that rule that you can't be intoxicated on the show.
Well, I think if it got more serious as time goes on, none of us expected this to take off in the ways that it has. So, I mean, the fact that it's gotten a little bit more serious, even though we do still have the lighthearted feel and all of that, is fine with me. It was a moment in time. The rest of real media has fallen apart or been censored around us.
And the guy still is still a part of the show, anyways. I mean, his pictures are right here on the screen. So this Arthur Wolf, just shut up and go sit down in your corner and cry more.
Yeah, come on, dude. Just sit down. Like, duly noted. Duly noted.
Well, let's give him the corporate line of sue us. You know. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll throw a handful of nickels at him and make it hell.
Yeah. Like, what do you? No, even better than that. This is Anon, right? I will try to feed somebody, to help somebody in need on their behalf. That's what I will promise you I will do. Right? And that's the most I can offer you. If you feel that there's some amends to be made, like, that's my number one goal through all of this. Right. So, that's would be my amends. I don't feel sorry about anything that's going on. Well, I think I joined after most of that went down, but to be honest, it doesn't matter to me.
Well, I'm all for that. We buy him a block of cheese for that wine. Okay.
No, for real.
They'll go good together.
Come on, warrior up.
I mean, we never claim to be official or anything like that. We're just here to have fun, bring people on, get the stories out.
Yeah.
Again, official. You're the official Anon spokesman.
No, we're not. There's nobody's
fair
official.
Enough. Fair enough.
In fact,
like, that idea is a bit laughable. Like, honestly, people, like, step back and think about that a little bit. When you know anything about, like, the group that's not even only on this show, but Anonymous in general, right? For anybody to say, "Oh, I'm the spokesman for Anonymous," no, man,
actually,
I'm more like
there is a guy who's saying it, an old Manhattan. I'm not going to go into it, but
okay.
He also claims that Muslims cannot be anonymous. Well,
I have
a feeling we might get him on the show one of these days and have a 4-hour argument.
When people say things like that, like, "Hey, did you know I'm one of the founders of Anonymous, or I'm one of the leaders of Anonymous?" I could name off some names that were real people I would consider in that category. When somebody says something like that to me, I agree with them. Yeah, okay. I'm the spokesman for Anonymous. Oh yeah, cool. What do they have to say? Right? I'm like, what who the fuck am I? And you know what I mean? So, like, I don't particularly take offense. I don't get excited about it when somebody's all like, "Oh yeah, I'm an anonymous hacker." Yeah, okay, cool. Good work. I like what you guys are doing. Shit. Like I said, who the fuck am I? Like, I always view it more like, you know what I mean? I'm not a clown. I'm the jester, right? I'm here to make fun of the king. I don't give a fuck about anything else.
Yeah. Well, if you've got any working brain, then you're not going to take responsibility for all these operations like Operation Israel and all that stuff. There are some billions of damage done by certain Anons, and if you're saying, like, I'm like the leader of Anonymous and I was, like, behind all of this, you're pretty much suiciding.
There's a guy that's doing that right now. He's been doing it for about 3 years. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you know the different sets of skills that it takes to do some of the things that people claim to, and you have people that you'll meet, and they'll say, "Yeah, I touched this," or "I did that," or whatever, and most of the time it's very specific. If you get a story and you've got this jack of all trades hacker that's, expert in that guy doesn't exist, right? That's movie bullshit. It can take a lifetime to get, to do one operation, a real operation, to the computer world, it could take years, decades. When you look at some of the worms that are on the old Windows systems, right? You didn't know about them until 2015, right? They were put there in 2000.
Yeah.
To even be able to work, right? There was so much that was involved in that, and the guys that were involved in those kind of things, they're not going out and telling you, I was hacked into the CIA last weekend. I'm the leader of Anonymous. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, awesome. It's impressive. I'm fucking impressed.
Yeah, I saw a guy a couple weeks ago using a Reaper program on government email servers. It's kind of funny.
Well, I mean, most of the things where people get into really deep whatever, it's guessing passwords, and I mean, the tools sometimes even take quite a long time to get up enough information or guessing or knowing somebody's habits. The people that are in charge are stupid as fuck, right? They are the kind of people that have, like, Skull and Bones 69, right, as their password. And they end up people getting huge amounts of information because of those things. God 1 2 3, right?
Yeah.
I mean, most of the information that you get is somebody getting on a web page and one of these guys trying to talk to a girl, to be honest.
Oh, you know, speaking of random information, John, you might know this one. There's RT is claiming that there is a group of Anonymous Europe. I don't know who they are, and they've been publishing PDFs stolen from the UK government on racketeering, propaganda on Russian interference and Russian propaganda, etc. Yada yada yada. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I know who's running with it, but there is a group they call themselves Anonymous Charity, and then there was I saw the Cyber Guerrilla Network also ran with this information, but there were some doubts later because that Anonymous Charity, YouTube is connected to that anonymous official thing that makes money, and
yeah, in the documents were either given or they were stolen. You know.
Well, I mean, these guys, just like the mafia.
Yeah, a lot of it was given.
Yeah, see, just like the mafia does, they'll drop dimes on their opponents politically. You know, so I mean, just like the mafia back in bootlegging and all of that stuff, right? If you want they'll call the cops on a bootlegging information, you know, to get rid of their competition. Those are kind of games that are played within the intelligence community. You know, you leak information to destroy your enemies.
Yeah, but this Anonymous Charity thing is kind of like a weird story because that channel also released stuff like Anonymous has proved the Earth is flat, for example.
Oh, with that was Anonymous Global just been publishing videos like that forever.
Anonymous Global.
Yeah, they also had the UFO video. You know, they had
that's the weird thing. That's the weird thing is Anonymous Global is publishing the Earth is flat.
And they're
okay, but don't
and in a dome.
Yeah.
Don't overestimate the lulls either, right? Like, we've posted stuff to deliberately troll people. That sounds like maybe somebody was deliberately trolling someone.
Yeah, when you're trolling, you're just poking around for information anyways. Yeah, it's the whole point of trolling.
Yeah, you want to see a room explode, right? Post a flat Earth.
I guess I owe an apology to Anon Wolf. I guess he just had bad information. That's cool. So I apologize as well. So.
Yeah, I know he's always been cool with us, and he was one of the first ones on the show even.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's forget about it. Let's just talk about other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a bit going on in the world.
Yeah, there is.
Yep, Commander X is in the chat room.
Yeah, I saw him in the comments.
Yeah, I saw it. All right.
But yeah, share that. We have the links in there, so please share that around.
God, what did I have that was pressing? Oh, so did you hear?
I mean, all this.
Did you hear about the CFO from Hawaii was arrested in Canada, and they're going to extradite her to the U.S. because she was involved in breaking a trade sanction with the United States or Canada or some shit for delivering phones to Iran.
Oh wow! Well, I mean, look, come on. We were kind of talking about that earlier.
So you don't want
to control information.
So you don't want Iranians to have access to anything.
No, they'll call people and tell them that they don't want to kill them. Like, that's a nightmare. That's caused so many problems with who they try to paint as the bad guys. Like, the worst that can happen is that you can be like, okay, I'm just gonna call someone in Iran and be like, hey, brother, do you wanna murder me for my freedom? And they're all like, nah, dude, I just want to watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Right, I just want to live my life. I don't want to kill anybody while your government is telling you there are people on the other side of the world in scary places that will kill you. I don't know their names, just Iranians. Unknown Middle Easterners. Unknown. There are known knowns, and there are unknown unknowns. And there are unknown knowns. This is an unknown unknown. There are scary people somewhere else in the world that want to kill you, and we need really huge amounts of money and for you to give up all your rights to keep them from doing so.
Yeah. And so I posted about one a few minutes ago, was a HR 51176, where they're trying to kill the First and the Second Amendment, where you can't talk about what the Second Amendment is being taken away. they won't. Yeah, it was kind of hard to understand. It was like, oh, they're trying to fix it where you can't talk about, lower receivers being taken away because that can be considered dangerous.
Well, you also can't buy parts as well.
Yeah, talking about not buying parts can be considered dangerous. So they're trying to throw the First and the Second Amendment all into one bill. They're just making it look like,
they need to get rid of them if they can't. Like, even things like the Patriot Act, they tried over and over, renamed it. They tried to push the Patriot Act constantly, right? Every time something would happen, they'd rename it and try to push it again. They'll do this again and again. So, I mean, to be honest, they would like to get rid of as many of your rights as possible.
Yeah, they'll start it off simple. Oh, we'll just make it look like we're just trying to get rid of 3D printed guns, and then we're going to evolve it when everyone gets bored and tired of reading it. So they're just thinking, oh, you're voting to get rid of 3D printed guns. No, they're just trying to get rid of all of it.
They can't
not just
it,
that.
They can't stop
it.
Yeah.
I mean, what are they going to do? Stop you from going to Harbor Freight or Costco or Walmart and buying a lead pipe, a metal pipe? They're going to stop you from buying a welder torch to, keep you from making your own stuff?
Yeah. So,
well, I mean, they need desperately to create an underground of some sort at this point, right? Because once marijuana is legal and people want more treatment clinics for harder drugs and less prisons for harder drugs, like, they need a boogeyman here, and quick.
Yeah.
Right. Otherwise, you're kind of stuck with, okay, well, then why aren't we building more rehab centers? Right. Why aren't we taking care of these social issues? Right. We've got tanks and armored cars. We need this scary boogeyman to be able to continue to take your rights. And if one doesn't exist, they're going to have to build one. Right. So you're going to still get you're still going to get your shotgun. They know that. Right? Everybody knows a guy that knows a guy, but right now that's fine. He can sell his wares in the open market. Nobody cares, but they'll turn that switch, and all of a sudden there's that same group of heavily armed assholes, right, needing permission to kick open your door. Not your permission, the government's permission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what they also know is that these restrictions only work against the normal people again, because the people who really want to kill people, they will get their weapons.
Well, I mean, that's not the point of why they go through of this. Look, when you look at, I mean, not to go back to it, but when you look at things about the marijuana trade, right, about the marijuana industry, all of the drug war involved with that was wrong. The heavily armed guys, the people that were executed, that were shot, that were seen as criminals, and neighborhoods that were undermined and destroyed, right? All of that was done, like, on purpose. On purpose. And it was that kind, like, they're not going to step away from doing any of that. But because it was wrong, look, there were still criminals involved with that, but most of the criminality was on the other side once you know it's wrong. Like you see the bad guys in the Prohibition back in the day as being wrong. All of those people were wrongly imprisoned. They were wrongly cuffed. They were wrongly beaten up. They were wrongly searched. Their rights were wrongly violated. They were wrongly imprisoned.
Yeah. Yeah, well, just to give a quick disclaimer, don't try this at home, but they also, you can make bombs using artificial fertilizer. You can use nail guns to kill people. Yeah. They actually, in my country, they actually made nail guns. They put it on the arms list to illegalize it for a while.
When we were in Jamaica, when we were in Jamaica, you saw a lot of those, of those handmade guns there, right? So I mean, people made everything, the bullets or whatever. Shotguns were super popular, but you saw a lot of those kind of tech weapons around. Violent crime is violent crime. There's all sorts of reasons for violent crime. I think we can check off several things before we get down to disarming, patriotic, loyal, law-abiding citizens. There's plenty of things to keep people from, criminals and people with mental problems, all sorts of reasons, ways to keep people that don't need guns out of their hands. right? But that doesn't mean wholesale giving up every right that we have to somehow make you feel better. Well, close some of those loopholes, like you know, their goal is to sow fear. You know, make it, you got to be a certain age, you need a little bit of a cool down period. I'm really big on the waiting period. You know, wait a couple of months, especially when it's a, you know, a couple of weeks, when it's a young kid, especially your girlfriend just broke up with you, blah, 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 blah. You know, a young kid out of the military and your girlfriend just broke up with you and you're feeling all of those pressures, right? It's better that you have a little bit of time, that you can't just walk in and buy a piece, right? You got a little bit of time to cure, especially when you're young. I've had several friends commit suicide, and if they had that cool off period, right, where you can't just walk in and get a piece, they wouldn't be dead today.
Well, you could kill yourself with a knife, a rope, a bungee cord, you know, just jump off a roof.
Yeah, but there was that's true, and that is very true, but it does cut down on that 18-year-old kid. Yeah, it sucks that Susie broke up with you. It feels devastating right now, right? But you'd be surprised in a couple of weeks how different you feel.
I seen a far left Facebook. There was some kid set himself on fire. His girlfriend broke up with him.
Oh yeah, that shit.
He went to the gas station. Yeah.
Yeah, that shit definitely happens, and people will hang themselves, and I mean, there'll be overdoses, there'll be all sorts of things. But that doesn't mean that the things that we can fix, that we can't save some of those lives. So yeah, it's not going to fix the one that hung himself, but it will fix that 18-year-old kid not being able to kill himself, or coming to the conclusions that yeah, it's not that bad. Found a new girlfriend, I'm all good. Right, so like we can't have the like, well, oh well, it's like the like government thing, right? Well, we can't have, if we can't, you're asking for a perfect government. No, not at all. I'm just asking for a government that isn't actively trying to fuck me.
I don't know if that exists, bro.
Yeah,
it's a job.
The streets are in good condition for me to drive to and from where I commute to work.
Yeah, it's like I don't expect there to be shit like suicides happen for sure. But I mean, given that situation specifically, what's the difference? I know 3 weeks before I need to go hunting, right? I know whether I live in a neighborhood or a situation where I need a piece, right? Like, don't spontaneously buy shit, right? So I mean, that has to go with, if you had to wait 3 weeks to get your handgun, well, then you had to wait 3 weeks to get your handgun.
Oh man, I just got my flare launcher.
Like you got to save up for it anyway.
But they go to the complete, like, if you say that, then they go to the complete opposite. Well, no, we need to send stormtroopers to your house to collect all the guns up. And no, that's not what the fuck I'm saying. You know goddamn well that's not what I'm saying. But that's what they push for.
Well, that's where the red flag bill is going to come in at, if that can pass. California has it. I think 3 states have it. Somebody's got to do is say, oh, I feel in danger from so-and-so, or someone's in danger to themselves, but you get a knock at your door, they take your guns, and then you go to court.
Yeah, I mean, I think of the people that I know that even have large amounts of firearms that are completely stable. You know what I mean? That's just not something that you would consider, where there are people out there, there are people that I've been exposed to, there's people that you come across and you're like, oh my God, there is no way that they should be able to get a gun or have a gun. No fucking way.
You mean the guy that hears voices shouldn't have a gun?
Yeah, look, if you're screaming in your front yard with a piece in your hand, right, you should not have a gun.
That's
you know what, that guy
true.
that executed those kids, you know, for listening to their music too loud, right? And that was like the 3rd or 4th time he had brandished a weapon while he was getting it. Came out, you know, it didn't come out of nowhere. And in those cases, yeah, there's totally something that you could do. But you got to put such hardcore limits on these guys or it never stops.
Well, you know,
like,
in Germany, they have like one of the strictest gun laws, and they have the most gun owners per capita. And in Germany, you have to take an intensive psychological test before you can get a gun.
Yeah, so you don't get into that, you know what I mean? This isn't the Wild West. Right, you know the like I said, when you name those, they're in a completely different. What that guy shot, you know, some dude over his parking spot.
Yeah.
You know, after, and everybody that worked there is like, nah, this guy comes in here fucking raving all the time. Like, you could, you know, after a couple of seconds, you would be able to talk to, you know, you'd be able to find out, you know, this guy probably should not have a piece.
Yeah.
But I've been playing this since, like...
When it comes to the Second Amendment, the last part of the Second Amendment, I don't personally feel as being that important. Now, the well-regulated militia, I do feel is being real important. And I think that they have made this, like, third-rail argument over the last part of the Second Amendment to make sure that we don't organize through the first part.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they wanna illegalize the militias too, and that's that's what our country is founded on. You know,
they want a standing army, and our founding fathers did not want a standing army. If we needed an army to fight a world war or any of that stuff, our local militias would come together and we would have an army at any time, well-trained, well-funded, well-regulated, ready to go. But they've taken all of that away and centralized it into a standing army that our founding fathers specifically said, if we have a standing army, we will start oppressing countries that are smaller than us. Yeah. Countries with standing armies always do that. But with the militia, if we feel we need to go to war, we'll do it.
Well, our U.S. Army is already is under their quota reach anyways.
Well, because we're not, like, name a war that's going on right now, right, that isn't bogus, right? That isn't just, I mean, like, every single one of them is just a nightmare. Oh, we can't figure out how to get out of Iraq and Afghanistan. Put on your boots, right? Walk to the airport.
World War II was
fly home.
But the other ones weren't.
Well, I mean, we're running out of things where it's all like, have you tried feeding people? You know what I mean? Like, the wars that are happening right now are manufactured. We've created them. We're making them. We're funding them. We're arming them. Like, and it's well known at this point. Your average dude on the street. This isn't a conspiracy, right? 9/11, the whole fucking war in Iraq, the nuclear weapons, right? It was all bogus. We all know it. It was a fucking lie.
They started this back in 1963. I found a PDF where they planned to disarm Americans, law-abiding citizens, mind you, and law enforcement since 1963. All they have to do is get us all fighting each other and say, "Oh, you're all fighting. Let's take this."
Well, okay, no. Hey, you know what? I'll go with that, right? You disarm law enforcement, then I'll throw down my weapons too. Like, we need to, like, you put in some real deal fucking, look, you guys can never, ever, under any circumstances, terrorism, like really be so fucking specific. You can't put one of those thou shalt not kill clauses, right, in the thing, because people will use it. You need to be super specific. But yeah, if they start backing down from military police departments, I would definitely consider it a less armed society. But right now, these assholes are armed to the teeth and do nothing but fucking oppress us in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even if they disarm all Americans, it's not going to, like, stop Americans from, like, rising up if they want to. I mean, look at France. France
there is no disarming.
Yeah,
like,
real.
That's the argument. There is no disarming all Americans. Like, that's a joke.
Yeah, there's 300 million of us, you know.
Yeah, well, that's the deal. There's so much, you know, we have produced so many guns, you know what I mean? I mean, there's the millions and millions and millions and millions of guns. There's weapons caches all across the U.S. Like, it's a joke.
Yeah, but, like, if you, like France is pretty much disarmed, and, like, you can see these people make their own guns. Like, they throw stones. Like,
Yeah,
you have,
but
like, a
they
million
didn't
people throwing stones.
they
You're not going to stop it.
We're not going to beat the U.S. Like the oppressive governments of the world with weapons, right? They've won that game. That game, like that's not, you know, we're not going to build guns to take to you'll be able to build a gun to keep underneath your bed, you know, if someone's breaking into your fucking house. But as far as standing up to the U.S. government armed, that's a joke. We have to control the ideas that soldiers join up for. What they're willing, the lines that they draw, the people that they're not willing to oppress, as in our own people. Right now, as long as they say, hey, they're from another country or they speak another language, we'll go along with it. But they've never been able to truly convince the military in a whole to oppress our own people. The police departments, they've been able to build enough fear and fund them and give them tanks and toys and hire enough psychopaths to make it work. But the all-volunteer military hasn't been able to go that way, right? There's nobody that's more pissed off about what's going around, you know, the wars going on around the world than veterans, right? Because they know they're selling our brothers and sisters to fight and die for nothing.
Yeah.
For Halliburton's, you know, for Halliburton's profit.
Poppy.
But
what they will tell these soldiers is simply that these people are like out to destabilize the USA and they don't know what they're doing, and this army is needed now to like save the USA from these angry protesters, and they will have to shoot a few Americans because these Americans don't know that they are destabilizing the USA.
It's the people. It has to do with unity. Look, if you riot in Watts, right? They will call in attack dogs and machine guns and gas cans,
the water
right?
cannons, yeah.
Yeah. The works. Now, when you start getting the entire city to stand as one, they ain't gonna do shit. When we saw at Standing Rock, when the veterans showed up, fuck, they would have now, like, the leadership didn't allow it. They would have allowed those veterans to walk right up to it. They really won't stop it when it comes to that amount of numbers. They'll lose too much support. You shoot little Susie at a fucking protest, right? That's over. Right?
Yeah, these are the basic rules.
I mean, as sad as it sounds, you shoot a little blonde kid at a protest and you'll never get support in the U.S. again. You can shoot all the black people and brown people you want. This is a fact, right? This isn't hidden. This isn't like, you know what I mean? That's just the way the world that we live in. But we've came to the point where the people that are protesting aren't worried about that. When the police shoot a young black man, there's thousands and millions of white people that are fucking pissed about it. And they can't shoot them. You know how quick you lose funding for shooting some fucking senator's kid? Really fucking quick.
These are kind of like the rules of engagement we have with protests too. Like if you're like a very small protest, they won't harm you, and if you're like a huge protest, they can't harm you. You're like only in danger if you're in the middle. Like,
yeah, but I mean, we have to use those things, and some of like the things that people are uniting about, the gas tax. Fuck, they could not find a racial component of that to save their lives.
No.
Right, and if they could, they would have tried to divide that in any way they can. And now that even like the way the news is covering it, well, they've got other issues. Well, they came to it and they were like, oh, the gas tax. Oh, hey, and what about global warming? And like everybody in the crowd was like, oh yeah, hey, what about fucking global warming? And they got like no love from any of the people that they normally would split on, and they fear that more than anything else.
Yeah.
Saying no,
this giant X.
Doesn't have... No, go ahead.
A giant X just popped up.
Fuck, man, go ahead, please.
Yeah,
please.
No, please don't let me interrupt, man. Am I being heard? Am I okay?
Yeah, you're on the air.
Hi, everybody. This is X. But don't let me interrupt the conversation. though. It's very interesting. I love this show. I love this show.
I think
I haven't heard from you in a while.
With all due respect, like we've been waiting for you to come on.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did say 10 o'clock though in the tweet.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
I'm just the warm up act. So dun.
No, well, and I'm not going to take up the entire show either. Do a quick short segment on this because I want to. Go greet new people, hopefully in the grid. We worked very hard on it, so.
Hey, but you made Tyler a girl.
Yeah.
No. Okay. So are we gonna start? Are we gonna start the segment?
Sure.
Yeah, please, by all means.
Okay. So first of all, let me give a shout out to Rubicon Jones, who is listening to the show. Rubicon is in world. He's an admin. With us, and so he's going to greet anybody who gets in world and tell them how to fix their girl problems and every other kind of problem. Rubicon has Rubicon wants to be part of a non-grid and be anonymous, but I know Rubicon from the OpenSim community, and Rubicon has a lot of experience, years and years and years of experience in administrating grids. So we're very glad that Rubicon volunteered to be an administrator for non-grid, and Rubicon will help you with all your needs when you get in in grid. So what is an on-grid? Well, an on-grid is a virtual world. It's based on the OpenSim platform, which quite a number of years ago split off from the Second Life community, so that they are basically parallel forks of the same simulator protocol, so that you can actually go to Second Life using the same viewers, the same third-party virtual viewers that you use to go in OpenSim. So if you've been in Second Life, in other words, you'll find OpenSim to be 100% familiar as far as how to get around. For those out there listening who might be OpenSim veterans, I'll just go over some quick stuff. You don't need a non-grid avatar to visit tonight or any other night. We are an open hypergrid world, so you can come and go as you please with any avatar from any world that will let you come to our world. So we're an open grid that way, and we also have open DMCA free. Mark is going to love this. We have DMCA free import and export of all objects, and that includes especially Second Life objects, because it pisses them off so much if you violate their copyrights. So bring your Second Life objects to a non-grid. We won't, we will shit can all DMCA requests from Second Life. So it's truly an anonymous grid in that sense, so yeah, if you're an OpenSim veteran, just come on over tonight or any other night. We had a little party planned, but we kind of had a little issue at the very last minute. Our HDTV does not stream your stream. It does play your videos though. Like we had an episode 132, I think, up all day long on the YouTube player, and but it won't stream the live stream. It's not an up-to-date browser that's built into the to the grid viewer. So it's unfortunate, but we'll figure something else out for the next show when I come on to talk about it again. We're going to launch the grid, I think, tentatively speaking, on January 15th officially. But tonight, what we want to do is open up enrollment. We're in beta right now. We've been in closed beta with a handful of Anons and Open Simmers helping us to run the grid through its paces and make sure we had it set up right. And it's set up really, really well. It's got a lot of compliments actually from some OpenSim veterans who have said that they think it runs very fast, and we're using the most modern simulator software that is available. So it's a great grid, and there's 13 regions, which are different areas of a virtual world. So like we already have donated an entire region to WikiLeaks, so you can visit, like, for instance, the WikiLeaks Center. They have a huge campus that we've been building for them for some time now. There's a sandbox, for instance, that's a giant region-wide no-break sandbox for OpenSim veterans. That means that if you go in the sandbox and you build some shit, we're not going to come take it down. We're going to just let you build whatever the fuck you want in the sandbox, unless we find it distasteful, and then we'll delete it, but whatever. But we're not going to rake the sandbox itself, and so it's a fun place where you can go and see all kinds of cool stuff that other people have built, and then build some shit yourself, and just leave it behind if you want. We have an economy. We have a grid-wide currency. It's a very famous gaming currency by the name of Globit. So that's built into your viewer, and you can authorize, you can get a Globit account and then authorize inside your viewer, and you'll be part of not only the non-grid economy, but the Globit economy in general. Globit is what's known as a trans-grid money, which means that you can take your money from grid to grid as you travel, and you can also share it amongst multiple avatars in multiple grids. So it's a great currency. We have a casino. The Lucky Troll Casino, so you can pop on over there. We have games for free, or you can gamble with Globit. We don't have the dance floor and the lounge built yet, but the machines are all up and running. We have the greatest state-of-the-art gambling machines, slot machines, video slots, regular slots, progressive slots and progressive games. We have card tables, self-serve. You can gamble or not gamble. You can play for free on them if you want. So on and on, really, it's a pretty big world. The center of the world, the capital of the world, is a giant mega region called Guy Fawkes City. And you can go there, and there's a bunch of stuff there. Where Tyler went wrong, he was talking about how when he popped into the grid for the very first time, he had a female avatar. Actually, if you look, Tyler, very, very closely at that avatar, it's neither male nor female.
Oh.
And there's a reason for that.
Assume gender, Tyler.
I don't know. I only saw the back part. It looked like I had a big ass. I thought I was a woman.
What we do is the selection of the male or the female. It can do a number of things. The way we've set the grid up is it really won't change a thing. You'll still get the same genderless potato avatar. And what we want you to do, we've got a poster. It's right in the very center of the Guy Fawkes City, the central square. There's a poster, and there'll be more of them. We're going to spread them around the world as we build out. That sends you to a place called the Avatar Center, and this is something that new players, new people in the grid want to do right away because you want to look at least somewhat cool. Your avatar is really a work in progress. That's kind of part of the hobby of going on OpenSim, is building more and more and better and more complex avatars. And the way that you do that is you travel what's known as the metaverse. That's the greater OpenSim universe, if you will, of other worlds where shit tons of people, thousands of regions, hundreds of worlds, people have created all different kinds of costumes, avatars. But to begin, right in Guy Fawkes City, we have Avatar Center, and that's what that poster I was talking about is about. It's right in the center of the square. It's right near the teleport board and the World Directory board and the Hypergate, right there in the center of the heart of things in Guy Fawkes City, and that's where Rubicon Jones is right now. So you can seek her out and talk to her. But if you click on that poster, it will take you to the Avatar Center, which is another part of Guy Fawkes City, devoted strictly, it's a giant area, it's a giant complex devoted to your appearance. So you can make yourself look like a furry. You can make yourself look like a kid. You can be a male or a female, and you have endless shops full of clothing and hair and accessories. So, and we have changing rooms. You're not allowed to change in the open, but we have a male and female changing rooms that are also there in the Avatar Center, and it's all very self-explanatory. There's sort of arrows pointing everywhere, and there's lots of good signboards and information, and that's part of beta. Okay, we're still building a lot of that out as we figure out what's missing as far as information and directions and stuff. But Tyler, what you want to do when you log in is ignore your potato avatar and head over to, and also you can type into your search, you can open up what's known as the world map, and that's a button in your viewer or a drop down in your viewer. Yeah. And you open up the world map and you type into the search simply Avatar Center. And then that will also take you to that section of Guy Fawkes City as well. And so that's where most new people, I don't want to use the negative term noobs, but new gridders, that's where you want to begin, is to at least get some sort of a cool look going. And then you'll feel free to travel like the greater metaverse without looking like a potato. But we do that on purpose. That's one of the things I wanted to talk about. I mentioned it in the tweet, and it's really, really important. We actually have a bunch of OpenSimmers who have come to me in the last 48 hours who asked me to speak about this. They're specifically from the LGBT community. And this is something that is new to me. I was going to talk about this anyway, and that's the convergence of
So we got trans on there.
The convergence of social movements with the OpenSim culture and the OpenSim technology is something that I thought was something natural to talk about because, hey, it's a non-grid, right? So why the fuck wouldn't you talk about that? But then the LGBT folks in OpenSim sort of popped in, and a few of them have spoken to me. And apparently there's quite a large LGBT segment in the OpenSim culture, and they're working on this. They're working on this convergence of social movements and social ideas and culture with OpenSim technology. So it's just really interesting that this is not new. Apparently, not a new idea that I had with the non-grid. But what I want to do with the non-grid is exactly that. I want to see if this very, very incredible three-dimensional virtual world simulation technology can assist us in organizing social movements. This is a
that's what I've been saying in our chat too below our show, that this is actually like a project to replace all these corrupt sites like Facebook and Twitter to meet up between activists.
Correct, and I want to give people just an overview of what you can expect in OpenSim world. This has very realistic physics, and the physics even are wrapped around sound. So, for instance, if we're walking together on a sidewalk, me and you in World Tyler side by side, and you're to my right, I'm going to hear your voice coming from the right. If you decide to cross the street, then your voice will remain on the right, but it will begin to fade as you get further away from me. Eventually, if you keep walking away from me, it will fade away completely. This is sound physics. We have bullet physics as far as the actual physics that guide how objects move and people move. So it is a very, very sophisticated world, so that it's very immersive. I guess my point being that it's very immersive. You can begin to believe in it as you move around. And then what happens is you layer on top of that, Mark, what you were talking about. It has all the social media aspects. For instance, we have instant messaging and friending. You can friend other avatars, both from hypergrids, from other grids, or from our grid. You can find out if they're online or off. You can send them DMs. Those DMs are spooled, and then they get them. Some of the stuff, am I still on?
Yeah, you're still on. I think somebody dropped out.
No, yeah, good. That was a horrible noise. But and you know, and some of the things that we want to play with with a non-grid is taking those social media aspects of OpenSim that are already built into the platform, like, say, for instance, DMing. I'd like to see if I can implement encrypted DMing. Now, I'm not saying come to non-grid and do any fucking illegal shit. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. I don't think anybody should. We're gonna get our SSL certificate probably later this week, and I would like to play with some shit. I'd like to introduce some shit that's innovative, but you should use your head. But is it valuable for organizing? Yes, very much so. For instance, right now I'd like to issue an open invitation. All you Anons that are out there listening, we have a giant building in Guy Fawkes City. It's called Anonymous Global, and I don't know what this other Anonymous Global shit that you were talking about earlier is, but we run the website anonymousglobal.org, and we don't have no UFO videos on our site.
Oh,
but it's
a different guy.
And I'm going to drop a little secret. You know, Mark is actually one of the admins as well on the site. So, you know, but we're cool. But anyway, we have a skyscraper. It's the largest building in Guy Fawkes City. We're very proud of it. It's the tallest building. It was very hard to erect, but it's the Anonymous Global headquarters, and it's huge. We got endless space in that building. I'm offering any operation, any action that you guys got going on out there that's current and or not. I don't care, whatever it is. Come to me. Come to one of our admins. We'll work something out. We'll get you free space. Now, space costs money. So free space is free something. It's valuable because we do rent land to people who want land for some other purpose, you know, commercial or whatever. So we will rent people space in a non-grid. That's standard practice to support a grid, but we give free space to anybody. And so come see me and we'll set you up with some office space, and we'll also let you advertise in Guy Fawkes City itself. We'll let you put up billboards, for instance, against ACTA, or I noticed you were speaking about the yellow vest thing. If you want to advertise in the main square with some billboards, whatever. I mean, this is an anonymous free-for-all. Let's make this city, Guy Fawkes City, that we have worked so hard to build the the infrastructure, the teleportation, the buildings. When you get there, you'll be impressed. It's a very impressive, empty fucking city. So come fill it up, and we'll work with you to do that, and we'll give you all kinds of free space and free tech support and free help, because this is what it's there for. This is what the grid is there for. So let's see if this works. Let's see if we can find, as Mark said, alternatives that are run by us. The terms of service, a lot of it is kind of fake, like the shit about the copyright and the DMCA. We have that in there for camouflage. We're not actually going to enforce any of that shit. But the shit at the bottom about your privacy, we are going to enforce. We are, you have a right to be forgotten. Come to us. We'll delete your shit, whatever. This is the real deal. This is a non-grid. And so let's see if this really cool 3D virtual world isn't a new way for us to come together, to build culture, and also to keep organizing, to keep moving the movement forward. It could be one platform. It's certainly a way for you to advertise what you're doing, because other Anons, even if you don't like it, other Anons are going to like this. Whether you like it or not, this is going to go. People are going to dig this. So, even if you just want to come just to advertise your shit, that would be a good reason to get on the grid. So, if anybody's got any questions or whatever, I'm really tired. We've been working round the clock just to get it ready to open the enrollment. So which I haven't done. I'm going to go start activating people as promised. Hold on, where's my browser?
I do have a quick suggestion, maybe, like instead of a question, I got a suggestion, and that is, I know you're going to need like a lot of server power and stuff, but I also know that like a lot of Anons are like very poor, but maybe some Anons, they want to like maybe donate some server power instead of like money or something. They have like, maybe they can donate their
Absolutely. We have first of all, there's a bunch of ways that you can help a non-grid. Okay, so if you want to see this project move forward, right now, I won't lie, Mark, you've seen my projects before, and a lot of this is strapped across my shoulders right now. But it's something that means so much to me, and also on a scientific level, which I also want to, if I get time, I want to talk about real quick, which is the convergence of artificial intelligence with OpenSim. But
yeah, that was realistic. It took me about 5 minutes to figure out that I was talking to a computer.
Thank you. That's the greatest Turing test there is in the world, and I love it. Thank you for the compliment. We'll talk about that in a second, but as far as supporting a non-grid, I would love for people to support, and there's all kinds of ways, both free and otherwise, okay? So here's the deal. Number one, the biggest way that you can support is the same way that you can still help to support my other project, Mark, which is Anonymous Global Internet Radio. Just use it. Just use it. Okay? If you come and you sign up for an account and you find the grid interesting, we give free land to anybody. Any user can get free space. First of all, even if you just want to build a house, we got residential plots for you. Already, I spent all day setting them up. So we'll give you just a place to build a house. If you just want to play with it and you just want to build something, we'll give you space.
Yeah, my mind is going a million miles an hour on the ways that we can do this, that we can use this to our benefit. Imagine, guys. So there is that.
Let me just finish up real quick on the supporting, and then I'll come back to you. So use it. Use the platform. That is the best support there is. Those numbers on the front login page, when you go to the login page, you will see a set of numbers that tell you how many users we have, how many regions we have. Those numbers are fed to various directories who will then boost us, or bump us or whatever, if we get people using it. So everything helps. Just use the grid. Another way is if you are an OpenSim veteran, or if you are interested in becoming an OpenSim veteran, we could use people in the admin group who can just greet people and help people with shit like Tyler's problem of being a genderless potato and how do I fix that. Those are easy things to learn, and people you can just sit in the town square and hang out. There's chairs, and and it's a nice space, and just direct people to how to use their viewer and how to get resources and how to get started in the OpenSim world. That's a great service. It's eventually there'll be a board of the admin group where you'll be able to see which admins are online, and you'll be able to message them. That's how important that service is. So that's great free service. And hey, you get the grid for nothing. You come on the grid. We give you a whole region for free if you help out and become part of the admin group. So you get a huge plot of land that's enormous, 65,000 square meters of land for free forever. And all you do is just hang out and help people learn how to grid, and that's a great service. If you are more technically advanced in OpenSim, if there's a 1 in 1,000 really serious veteran out there like Rubicon Jones, or even more so, if you know anything about OpenSim background, back-end servers, love to have your advice, love to have your voice at the table. Please get in touch with me and let me know, because I can use all the help I can get. OpenSim is a very complex system to run. I'm doing a good job so far, I know that, but I can always use more advice. As far as support of server space, yes, if you're an anon that I know, or that somebody knows that I know, that I trust, that I can trust, this system that I use is run within a Windows environment, unfortunately, but it's the best. It just really is. It's the best platform, and it's run in a Windows environment. It's drag and drop. It's a portable system. We made it that way on purpose so that if any of us get busted or something happens to one of us, anybody can grab the latest compressed image and open it on the Windows machine, open up the ports on your router, and boom, AnonGrid is back online. So it's very portable and easy to set up. If somebody wants to offer us a more robust machine and a more robust pipe than what we have right now, I'd love to talk. I'd love to hear about that. Financial support, there's a donation link at the bottom of the website. We accept crypto and cash. We can just pay for hosting and get a better pipe and a better machine than what we have. That's fine too. Another way to support is if you are in the mood to either use the money, the Globits. If you use the economy of AnonGrid, it helps us. It boosts the grid. We make a tiny fraction of a percent on how money moves around on the grid. So you can just use Globits and buy stuff and support the Globit merchants that you're going to find setting up shop soon in the Wildwood Mall is the name of our mall. And then finally, we will host you. If you have something that you need land for that doesn't particularly have anything to do with information activism, and it's maybe commercial, say you want to put up some sort of a club or something like that, or you want to sell stuff and charge money for something, or whatever, or you just want more space than what's available for free, we will host you. We only host for Globits. So you have to buy the Globits then at that point, and become part of the economy. But then you can purchase land off of us in Grid, and so those are all the ways to support. There, and please do, because it's a great project. It's just a fantastic fucking project, guys. This could change the face of Anonymous. It really could. And we're going to be able to do radio shows we're going to have a studio, we're going to have a virtual studio, and we're going to do radio shows from within the grid. We're going to be able to broadcast on YouTube from within the grid. And that's going to be really exciting, where we'll be able to sit and have guests, like Tyler will be able to sit with me, and you'll be able to see him in virtual reality sitting with me on YouTube. So that's already a done deal.
So it can actually play like YouTube videos inside the grid? Or?
That we're working on. That we failed on tonight, which sucks. We had a party planned in the town square, and I had a great HD TV set up, and it played your videos. It played your archived YouTube videos, but it balked when it went to playing the stream. It wouldn't do it because the browser and the viewers are not up to date, and that's a viewer problem. It's not how we serve the content. but it was because the most advanced viewer in the world didn't have an up-to-date browser. So there's a dichotomy. That's part of OpenSim culture. There's a bit of a gap between the development of viewers, which is a third-party thing, and there's a ton of them. There's like a ton of different viewers to choose from, and then the OpenSim platform people don't exactly like necessarily shoehorn each other. So there can be gaps in what we can do, but we served it properly, but it didn't work out. When I got in World, I realized it didn't go. But there's other ways too. For instance, on a normal day, we turned it off today for the show, but on a normal day, Anonymous Global Internet Radio broadcasts worldwide. It's still broadcasting every other place in the world except Guy Fawkes City, but I turned it off tonight because I thought we were going to stream on the YouTube player. But normally you would be able to pop into the world, and if you allow your viewer to listen to whatever is being broadcast in grid, then you would automatically hear Anonymous Global Internet Radio. So we normally stream 24/7 worldwide in the grid, and we'll be able to use that feature of Anonymous Global Internet Radio to sort of bounce back and forth. We'll be able to not only broadcast shows into the world, but we'll be able to broadcast shows from within the world out. And that pipe is already done. I could have done that tonight myself. That was my plan. If you guys didn't invite me on the show, I would have broadcast from within the grid out to YouTube and had people watch us from within the grid. And that's a neat feature. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to like organize an ABB show where we all gather in grid, because since you're already broadcasting on YouTube, you could at least get out to YouTube. I don't know if you could make the other shit that you guys do work, but you can stream on YouTube from within the grid. It's a built-in feature. That's actually crazy. It just takes yes, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. The media features of OpenSim really lend themselves to what Anonymous does, as far as like you can set out in the town square not only just posters, you can set out players that will play videos. Like I said, your YouTube videos were playing fine today in the town square. It's just the stream that didn't go. We'll work on that. We'll figure that out. But yeah, you can play videos. You can play Anon videos right in the town square. You can have the players set up, and then people have a choice. Sometimes people don't like to be bothered by media that's just sitting around, so they'll have their video, their viewer, they'll have it set so that they have to decide. Or other people they dig it, so they walk by and it just plays for them, automatically.
Hey, so you can just like walk to like one place in the grid, and you can like watch this video, and you can like walk to another place and watch like a different video.
Oh yeah, you can put videos all over the place. There are some server limits that I would have to go and get jiggy with if we start really packing like dozens of YouTube videos in town square of Guy Fawkes City. But yeah, generally speaking, sure, you can embed media, any kind of media, you can embed in any object, which is really amazing. Like we have this really cool HD TV that was in the square. It just looks nice, but the fact of the matter is, I could have embedded your show on a brick. Literally, I could have made a brick broadcast your show, because that's the beauty of this world. That's what the part that I like, the sort of hobby part that fascinates me, is the tinkering part, where it's like being a wizard. It's like being God, because you could take an object that's just an inanimate object, and then you can put scripts in it, the scripting language, and it's very basic. It's got a very common sense syntax.
Is it like Java?
Even simpler, simpler, and you can bust open any object. And I'll show you, Tyler, how to break open an object and read the script that's running it, and then but it's very simple, and there's script libraries too to make shit do shit endlessly. But that's the tinkering that I like. And then what I wanted to talk about also tonight was the convergence for me as a scientist, as a computer scientist. I'm very, very interested in the convergence of artificial intelligence, but also machine life. So for instance, in a week or two, when I get time to set up, we're going to have, you'll be able to go over, we have an institute in World. It's called the Anon Grid Institute for Simulated Technology. It's a wonderful campus. You can go over there now. It's all set up and built. It's a beautiful campus, and we're going to do things like study the ideas of, like, we have, for instance, flowers that rather than being these dead inanimate flowers that you go and lay out in worlds, and you'll see people have very nice landscaping, but their shit is dead. It's just these textures, you know, that you lay out, and it makes it look like you got flowers in your field, right? What if we could grow real flowers in the grid that breed and have little pieces of very basic DNA that they pass, so that they're actually mutating and changing colors and maybe dying. It's just wonderful shit. And so right now we have flowers and we have little birds. So you'll be able to see these little sparrows that we have that breed and grow and live. And then we have flowers. And then, of course, we have Allison, who you've met, and she's our AI admin. And we're going to train her because she's an AI and learns. She's pretty silly, stupid right now about OpenSim, but as we teach her, she will be able to actually be quite effective at conveying the most basic information, like maybe even, you know, by next week, Allison will be able to fix people's potato problem for them just by pointing at the sign and saying, hey, you need to go there, you know, and then you'll be all set.
Yeah, she was able to hold on to a full conversation. I was kind of surprised. That's why I thought it was a real person. I was like, okay, this is like 3 responses in, and then after a while, I kind of figured out, because the responses were in milliseconds. I'm like, nobody can type that fast. Then I figured it was a bot.
It is absolutely the best, and I got to check on that, because there's actually, she's not supposed to do that. There's a thing that makes her not do that. I'm going to fix that. But but in any case, the thing with Allison is that it's twofold. One, she learns, so she'll be able to become quite an effective admin. But I forgot where I was going with that.
Well, you've always been like very much into artificial intelligence, and you're like a specialist in that, in AI. Are you going to like teach Anons on there about AI, and will you like group up?
Well, that's what the Simulated Technology Institute is all about. That's why we built that campus. I mean, go over there, you'll be impressed. Just the architecture and the landscaping alone it's a really good environment. We have lecture halls, we have everything. We're going to have sign up. We're going to do classes. We're probably going to charge a few glow bits, but that's like, just to give you a scale or an example, that's like 15 or 20 cents, okay, USD. But we might charge like 5 or 10 glow bits admission, just to make sure people are serious and pay attention and come to come and actually work the classes. But we're going to do everything from like basic building classes, like how to build objects and script them, all the way up to, yes, the convergence of AI. And then eventually there are a couple of conferences right now that are really big, that take place in virtual reality. One is obviously the OpenSim conference, the annual OpenSim conference, which can't be beat. It's the conference to end all conferences. And then the AvaCon, which I think is still going on right now. If anybody's interested, to go over to AvaCon and check out some of the talks over there. Eventually, what we'd like to do, the institute gives us the campus. It gives us the venue with which to host an actual conference of our own. So eventually, that's something that's definitely on the table of something I'd like to do, to host other people to come in. And we want to talk about everything, including the virtual economy. I think that one of the things that I'm impressed with is the currency that we chose. You can choose any currency you want. We almost went with a solution where we were going to have an in-world currency called Anon coin, and then we were going to peg it directly to the blockchain Anon coin that some people might be familiar with.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. Yeah, I2P backs it up. Yeah.
And that's something that we could have done ourselves without asking anybody's permission or anything. We could have put that module in. You can put any currency module into the simulator that you want, but we chose Glowbits because we think they've done such a fantastic job at working with the OpenSim community to be able to make this currency foolproof. I mean, it's just the bomb shit. I carry a sack of money with me, and I go to any world I want. I log in with any avatar I want, and I spend it in any world that's got a Glowbit economy. So I'm very, very impressed. I'm very impressed with Glowbits, and so I want to explore the economic side, because I think that with Glowbit exiting and entering via Bitcoin, there's a direct correlation there. There's a direct correlation between cryptocurrency, because Glowbit is trading, certainly in the black market. We're going to trade it. We're going to trade it in Grid for crypto. So,
Okay, so there are There are a few questions for you, X, like in the chat.
Sure. Yeah.
The first question is from Little King. How long have you been doing this, Anonymous?
Yeah. How long have I been doing OpenSim? Is that the question?
No, just Anonymous. Like they are very interested in listening to you speak and stuff about Anonymous. So.
Well, Jesus, I don't know, Mark. When? I guess 2009 or so, something like that. I don't know, somewhere in there. I mean,
like maybe not that important.
Yeah, OpenSim split off from Second Life. I was always into Second Life. I mean, for those who know early anonymous culture, you know, everybody loves to write about, you know, the ideas of B and 4chan and how that sort of enculturated and sort of fermented Anonymous. But the fact of the matter is that if you watch We Are Legion, even Barrett Brown briefly mentioned Second Life, and Second Life actually played a very large role in the stitching together of the very initial, the very proto-anonymous culture. Many Anons were deeply into Second Life. This is Second Life. If you have Second Life or whatever, if you've gone into Second Life, you can use these viewers to go into Second Life right now. And in fact, OpenSim has put a gun to Second Life's head. They're actually talking now about letting Second Lifers hypergrid, which means they'll be able to leave the grid and actually go in the OpenSim world with their Second Life avatars. And that's something they steadfastly refuse that they would ever do. But Second Life is a closed economy. You've got to buy the fucking Lindens, which is the name of their currency. You've got to buy the Lindens off the Lindens. That's the Linden family, for Christ's sakes. They started Second Life in their garage. So, you know, and the land is horribly expensive. There is no free land. OpenSim has 4 times more land territory than Second Life right now. As of New Year's Day this year, we have 4 times more land. We only have 1/3 of the users to Second Life, but that shows you the democraticness of OpenSim, how you have a Second Life-like world with all of those features. But because anybody can put land out here, I guarantee that any technically savvy Anon listening right now can field their own fucking grid. It'll take you, if you're really new to it, maybe a month to master it. But that's it. You know, it is tricky, but it's not rocket science. It's not rocket science. It's a series of servers that need to dance in concert, and that's always tricky. But if you've done back-end work before, you'll get it, you know, and you'll get advice from other people who help you get it. So, you know, this is a very democratic thing that anybody can do this. And then you look at it's democratic. Almost every grid offers free land to every user. So what we're doing with the free land thing isn't even unique. If any grid you go to, you sign up for an avatar, they'll probably give you some kind of free land to go build on. So it's a very open, democratic thing compared to Second Life. And like I said, with Second Life, you've got a thing like Facebook too, you know, where you've got some people that may not have your best interests in mind that are going to be controlling the whole movie. This world, this virtual world, is ours. And I invite Mark Lubers. Right now, I invite Tyler. I know them both for years and years and years on end. Be admins. Come keep us honest. You want to keep me honest? You want to make sure that this shit is all on the up and up and people's data is protected and shit like that. The best way is to get involved. I invite Mark and Tyler to join. I will give them God level, which means they can check everything out in the server. There's nothing they couldn't inspect. And if you find something shady, you get on the radio and you snitch us out and you say a non-grid is fucking up. But you know, this is our grid. This belongs to Anonymous. So anyway,
so I have 2 more related questions about that. Someone is asking, like, one is can burner info be used to sign up, like instead of like more persistent info?
I don't give a rat's ass about your email. The only reason I would ever need your email is to perhaps send you a password reset link. But even that would be incredibly doubtful. You do get an email that lets you know that I've activated. So, for instance, I am trying actually to I don't see any accounts that need activating now. But when I hit the activate button, and that activate button is gone after tonight. I have to reboot to make it go away. But then after that, the open enrollment is tonight. This is it. So now you'll just be able to sign up and enroll. There'll be no more activation. But you do get an email from the system that just says, it's very brief. It just says, hi, your account is on a non-grid has been activated at this email address. So if you feel like using a burner email address where you can at least get, you get your email, you'll get that little message. But I don't give a rat's ass what you use to sign up. Look, the terms of service is camouflaged except for the privacy stuff at the bottom. Here's the deal: there are really no rules. The rule is man, don't piss people off. First of all, if they say they're a part of the administration group, their staff, if you really want to troll the staff of a service that's free to the whole world, then you might get shut down, dude. I don't know what the fuck to tell you, but that's not censorship. Don't fuck with my staff because they work hard. They're volunteers. I love them. And they really are there to help you do shit on the grid. I'm not against light trolling. I'm not going to shut people down for fucking with people or pranks or even hacking. If you invent some cool hack, we'll probably want to break it down, look at it, and write a blog post about it. But if you harass people and they come to me, I would rather have people feel welcome because the numbers in the grid are what I want. I want to service the most people possible. So if you're fucking with people and they outnumber you, then you're probably going to go. That's not censorship. You understand? But we're going to try to have a very open world where people can build very freely, they can innovate very freely, they can speak very, very freely, and we're going to try to keep the broadest channel of free speech and freedom that we can within the boundaries of having to run the grid. So, we'll just make a judgment call. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, one by one. If somebody, if there's an issue, we'll arbitrate it or figure it out the best we can. But there really are no fucking rules. You want to do porn? Do fucking porn. You want a whole region to set up porn? I'll give you a region to set up porn. We got gambling already, so we're about as shady as you can fucking get, right? I mean, we really don't care about the rules. This is hosted from a national territory that cannot fucking or will not do fucking anything about anything that happens on this fucking grid. So we'll just take it by a case-by-case basis. But, I mean, I suppose there are limits to what can be tolerated, but we'll keep the most open bandwidth for behavior that we can. And we've set the permissions up too. One of the things that we've done is even at the server level, we've gone beyond what most grids will allow as far as your freedom to do things like to build and to travel and to try stuff and to fly stuff and to drive stuff. And so we've opened up waterways, we've opened up roadways, in other words, for people to be able to, use the world the way it's meant to be used. So we've really pushed the permissions to the most permissive limit that we can. Even at a server level. So it should be a very fun world.
Okay, so that actually answers the other question, I think. Someone asks who manages the servers? Are the servers secure and all that stuff?
Well, right now, I'll answer that question, and I put the call out for volunteers. Right now, I manage it. But, I mean, like I said, I know Tyler and Mark, and I already work on some projects with Mark, so dig it. I mean, take God's status and check out what's going on yourself. I mean, I'll show you. I'll give you a tour around and show you the software, and we'll work on it together. But I'm not opposed to having other people involved. I don't want this brick strapped across my shoulder. I want this world to go, and it will go. One way or another, we will keep this thing hosted and online. It is my masterpiece, I think. To be honest with you, I've been coding a lot of years, Mark. You've seen me do a lot of projects. This is it. This is my masterpiece. So come on over and check it out.
I'll help with promotion, of course. I mean, everything we can do to replace these corrupt social media. I mean, it's time for something else. And I already knew we wouldn't get them off these places without an alternative. And I think maybe we finally have it. So
I remember in the early '90s, there were plans to make the whole entire internet on a protocol called VRML. It's kind of this is kind of
I played around.
Yeah, this is kind of taking me back.
I played around with VRML, and believe it or not, this is based on VRML. They changed it back just to XML. They just ditched the term.
Yeah.
But if you break open the very guts of OpenSim, it's the same shit, Tyler. It's VRML. I'm not even joking. But they've done so well with it. They've done so well with it, though. They've got it to fly at the speed of light. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
really fast ass shit. But yeah, it's based on VRML, which is why. Because that was an open protocol, it's why that the parallel fork with Second Life, because they also base their shit on the same thing. So because it's based on that same core central VRML protocol, Second Life is a very parallel thing.
Yeah, I remember VRML kind of like dropped off the planet because like back when the protocol was out, everybody was using modems.
It got absorbed into the sim. It got absorbed into the Sims. They absorbed the idea and the actual language into simulator technology, and then they just didn't bother to call it VRML. They just changed it back to XML. So like when you get to the very guts of like actual objects and shit, it's all XML files, but with VRML type syntax if you break them open.
Yeah, I noticed that when I was playing around with the OpenSim. I was looking around through the file structure, and then I was clicking on shit, and then I noticed when I got to the compiler, I was like, oh, okay. But then I noticed after like 5 minutes, I downloaded the wrong program.
Yeah. So this is I'm gonna probably wrap up my segment. I'll go jump in world. If you want to give it a try, I'll be in world pretty much constantly throughout the beta, the open beta. While we build out, we still got a lot of stuff to build and signs to put out and teleportation systems to implement, all kinds of shit. But the world is there; it's ready to go. You can claim your avatar, you can claim your free land, you can start building. The only thing about the beta that's going to be different than after the launch, which again we're looking at January 15th for a huge in-grid party where we'll gather all the avatars that have signed up and all our hypergrid friends, and we'll throw a big party in grid, and we'll fix that widescreen TV. But the only difference during the beta is that we don't guarantee service. I have to reboot a lot when I change major shit, so that's still on the table. So there can be random reboots without very little, if no warning at all. There's always the chance that this won't work, but I think it's gonna. So with those caveats in mind, it's go time. Sign up and get your avatar. After tonight, you'll be able to do so without any activation or anything. Just sign up, and you'll be on the grid in seconds.
Yeah, well, my account awaits administrator approval now, so get it going.
Oh, okay. Here we go. There we go. Activate. And there's two more, actually. Somebody else, and there's activate. Both activated. So there you go, guys. Yeah, I'm in the back end now. I've been watching it all night, monitoring everything. Mostly, the number one resource is RAM. We're running it on a gaming machine, but we're doing really super good. We haven't even come close to touching even near a max. So it's really good. I mean, the grid runs like glass. It's gotten a lot of compliments for how fast it loads. To give you an idea, I mean, Guy Fawkes City is an incredibly complex mega region with just a lot of space and a lot of shit happening, and the scene loads in about 15 seconds. So, that's not bad for a virtual world. And one of the things about OpenSim, it's been kept very democratic. If people are used to the graphics and the idea of like some high-end Xbox game like Halo 2 or something like that, you're going to be disappointed. Open Grid has also been kept democratic in as far as how it's viewed. It's actually the viewers that throttle how fast and how shit renders. And it's your window. It's your window into that world. So the viewers have been made to be so that anybody can use them, you know what I mean, on an average connection in an average machine. So, and that will continue to expand as the average machine expands. You know what I mean? OpenSim has always gotten better throughout the years, but it gets better in lockstep with what the average person can do, because it's always the focus with OpenSim to allow the access to the most people that can access. They even have text only viewers where you don't even get to see the world, but you can at least insert your avatar so you can talk to everybody and get your DMs. You know, you can engage in the social media aspect, check your messages and stuff like that. So, and they have an Android. We have it on the website. They have an Android viewer as well, so you can log into The Sims on your phone, in theory.
Somebody's asking, does it run on Windows? Yes, it runs on Windows, Macintosh, whatever. Well,
the OpenSim platform runs primarily on Linux. It would be preferred to be if it were being standalone. But what we're using is, and I'll give a shout out to them if any of them tuned in. If anybody tuned in from Outworlds, shout out to Outworlds folks. But the Outworlds folks provide everything in their whole shenanigans for free, and one of them is a wonderful software suite that will help me organize 13 different servers. That's what it takes to run a grid. 13 separate servers that have to dance together. And what Outworlds provides me is a piece of software that will manage that dance for me, and make it much easier to run a grid. And that runs in Windows. So and it's portable. We wanted a portable solution so that we can keep a non-grid always online. In other words, we don't know what could happen to any of us. So if something happens to one of us, the administrators, the other admin can go and grab the latest image, pop it open in any Windows machine to get the non-grid back on, and that image is automatically recorded by the software. So the backup is done by the grid itself. So the idea is just to make sure nobody loses the shit. We don't lose the world. You don't lose your objects. You don't lose your account. Even if a non-grid goes offline, that shit is safe, and it will find a way to get back online. We want it to be sort of like WikiLeaks, where it could be passed around to, or Pirate Bay, where it was passed around. If something were to happen in a non-grid, we could pass the grid around to other people who could then attempt to get it back online. And the portable solution, the portable Windows solution, seemed like the best way to make that happen. Any other anything I missed?
So somebody's asking since they signed up with the first and last name, and they're asking about the username. I found out really quickly that you just put a space on the program that you're using to log into, and then it goes right through.
Oh yeah. It's Second Life has always used a first name last name system because it's part of the culture that's sort of the dregs from Second Life. But the idea was always right. It was your Second Life, but you were supposed to be you. I mean, you were supposed to be like Facebook, right? You're supposed to be who the fuck you are. We don't care. I mean, there has to be two words there. That's it. You can call yourself fuckface as long as there's a space in between. That's going to be your name. So we don't actually care that it's your first or last name. So don't let that part stump you. It's just a leftover. I would prefer single name usernames myself. Maybe we'll implement that at some point. But for now, it's traditional to have two names in The Sims. But pick any two names you want. I am Commander X in World, and if I know you, send a friend request. If I don't bother. But I'll still meet and talk with you in World about the grid and everything. And I'm going to be in World immediately as soon as I log off from this segment. I just don't want to queue up my RAM and my bandwidth, but with a viewer. But I'm gonna log into the World as soon as I log out and stop talking about it with you guys. But I hope you found it interesting. I hope you guys will have me back on. We'd love to do the launch party here on the show. I'd like to make an official request that I come on the 15th, and we'll do the launch party live on ABB. If not the 15th, then whatever day the show is closest to that.
15th. We would have to do it. We'd have to do it around
You do it on a Thursday, but
yeah.
what I'm saying is around the 15th. I don't have a day set yet. I haven't announced anything, but we would do the launch party anyway on ABB. We'll get it streaming in World, and I think we could really have some fun with it.
Okay.
And do kind of what I planned on doing tonight, and we'll have an official launch party, and then it'll be off and running. But for now, like I said, visit, help us build your own stuff, get started. The grid is open for business. A non-grid is open for business.
So pitch your link real fast.
It's pretty simple. It's a nongrid.cf. It's a nongrid.cf. We have a Twitter account that you can find on the website, but just if you really wanted to look really quick, it's Hyperia Grid. That's HYPERIA Grid, Hyperia Grid. That's the Twitter account. But a nongrid.cf, everything's there. You can see if the grid is online. You can sign up for an account. You can get the all-important, as you begin to OpenSim, you'll realize the most important piece of information you need is our login URL. That's a long URL with a port number at the end of it. You need that specific URL in order for your viewer to connect to our world, and that's it.
I got a really good questions on Facebook. I can't pronounce your name, bro. But somebody asked, can you visit Open? I think you know what he's saying. Can you visit OpenSim on a mobile device?
You can. There is a player. We have it available at the top of the website. The very top, you'll see mobile player. It's called Lumia. It is a pay app. You have to purchase it, and it will only work properly on a very, very high-end Android. Unfortunately, Androids just haven't quite got. Some of them have. I've heard some of them have. Some of the ones that are coming out this year, I've heard, have chips that will really zoom.
The new Dragon processor.
Right,
and shit, yeah.
right. They even have little like graphics chips in them and shit. So, but just limit your expectations on the mobile player. But yes, there is a mobile player. It's at least good for logging in and checking your messages. It does that flawlessly. So if you end up doing as I do, I use a non-grid as my social media. I've chosen to do that. And that's actually a tip for people who have been missing me lately on other social media, because Mark was there when I deleted my Facebook, and I'm hardly ever on Twitter because I'm working in the grid. But here's a tip for those of you who are missing me. That's another good reason to sign up for an account tonight. It's probably about the only way you're going to be hanging out with me anytime soon. So come on the grid, and the Lumia mobile app is a great way to check your messages on the fly.
Yeah,
but a lot of people.
It reminds me.
A lot of people.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. A lot of people just leave their avatar in 24/7 too. That's not uncommon to leave their avatar in, and you've got various normal features that you would expect. Like you've got different away settings. Like you can make your avatar behave in different ways. Like if you're away from the keyboard, maybe send a message, or sometimes you can make it nod your head like you're asleep. It's pretty crazy.
This is like a step above, chat rooms,
Well, the thing about it is it's very immersive, and that's the education people. And if you get deeply involved in the OpenSim culture, you'll find out that one of the big major drivers of research money going into OpenSim is actually coming from the educational community. That's why we have all these great campuses, pre-built campuses that we can grab online and create campus worlds and educational worlds. And the reason for that is because educators have discovered this is better than doing a class on Skype, because it is a game. Have you ever seen the 1,000-yard stare from somebody doing gaming? When they're doing gaming, they get that 1,000-yard stare, man. You are locked in, man. You are in that fucking world, right? And you are locked in, and everything. People could come up and poke you in the real world, man, and you're just like a dummy, right? And that 1,000-yard stare that gaming provides, this world provides that same immersive thing, right? And so you're paying attention. I guess that's the point. When you're in a virtual classroom, you're paying much more attention than you would be to a web page with a Skype thing embedded in it, and you're doing some sort of classroom. You're likely to get up and go take a pee. You're likely to go make a coffee and maybe listen to the audio. Your mind is going to be all over the place, right? But when you're in this world, you're moving around. You're like, you know what I mean? You're doing stuff, and you're so glued in. You're so concentrated on what you're doing that I think it provides a much more immersive environment, both for education, but also for getting people to pay attention. I hope to political stuff, to social activism, and to information activism. Perhaps people will pay more attention if they go to the Operation Yellow Vest office in a virtual world to look at the videos. You know what I mean? Perhaps that will give them just a little bit more glued inness to what you're doing than you would if it was just a website. Or maybe it's a good augmentation at least. You know what I mean? A good second place. And you can cross-link. If you have a viewer installed, then you have the associations, what do you call file associations and link associations? You can open up a hypergrid link it's embedded into a web page, and it will bloom open that location in your viewer. How about that? So you can cross-link between a two-dimensional web, a web page, and the world, and vice versa. You can put hyperlinks that will bloom open browsers, and you can put them in world. So
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, very immersive place.
What you're doing now, that was like what they were thinking about, like in '94, how they wanted the internet to look. You know, they wanted it all to be virtual. You know,
the great metaverse, exactly. Yeah. And I think that OpenSim is going to become the glue that's going to hold together at least the three-dimensional aspect of that. There will always be a 2D aspect. That's fine. There will always be web pages. But I really believe that OpenSim has matured to the point over the last decade where they are now ready. I'm now ready to say this is going to become the standard. This is going to become the protocol for the 3D, the majority of the 3D aspect. We're a year away. I predict 1 year away from an OpenSim browser plugin, which will then simply, you won't even need a viewer anymore. It would just bloom open a tab. You'll still want viewers because viewers have such great features. I mean, they're building so much great shit into these viewers. I mean, the viewer is really designed to take advantage of what we are serving out on the server. But to have a simple tab that could open up, so you could even log in a library, you could even go check a hyperlink out that actually went to 3D World instead of to a 2D page. So we're a year away from a browser plugin that will allow that. But for now, it blooms open your viewer. It's the same difference. I mean, essentially, the viewer is a browser for the 3D world.
Yeah. And maybe, Tyler, if we're going to do like a release episode, then maybe, because you can stream from what is like visible on your desktop, right? So maybe we can do like a release party and we like stream the game live, like the inside the world.
We could do the whole show from inside. The only thing is, can you guys restream from a YouTube stream? All I can get to is YouTube. In other words, we can set up a full-on stream from within the game.
Yeah.
Where our avatars would speak for us. You wouldn't need any of the software you use. You just log in and we would broadcast to your YouTube channel. But can you get it from YouTube to the other crap?
Because I'm using an open source streaming program. I might have issues with the window capture. The program I'm using is Singularity. I'll see if it can capture the image from OpenSim sometime.
It captures it perfectly from the Windows stuff that's built in. It's actually, I guess, branded as Xbox. But when you load your viewer in Windows 10, it should show you a scroll bar where you can press Windows G. And Windows G will open up and you can record. Like, I've already recorded a bunch of videos from within a non-grid using the Xbox Game Recorder. It's actually all that Windows gaming stuff, but you can record and you can broadcast to YouTube directly. It's built into the Xbox panel. You do when you've got your viewer open and up, like how you say, it's the front-facing window. Then you do Window key and G, and then you can broadcast directly to YouTube from the grid.
Yeah, that's what Cortana was telling me today. I was like, what the fuck are you doing, Cortana? And all of a sudden, like that, the Windows G thing popped up in the corner.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and it works really, really well. And the grid is really fast, so it actually makes a really nice video. We're going to do a bunch of training videos, so eventually, right in the town square, people will be able to watch videos, just basic stuff, how to move around. And we also have two training worlds. You can see them on the main world directory, which is in the town square, Tyler. There is Firestorm orientation and Singularity orientation. These are worlds that were not built by us. They were built, they were designed by the programmers of the viewers, and they're designed that they pop you in and they literally walk you through doing everything on the viewer. They're amazing worlds, and we have both Singularity and Firestorm, which are the #1 and #2 most popular viewers. So those worlds were designed by them, and we're hosting copies of them, the training worlds for Firestorm and Singularity. That helps a wicked lot. You walk through that world once, and you'll really be able to navigate OpenSim when you're done. So we've tried to be thoughtful, and all that stuff is available in the town square. We're going to try to make as much available right in the center of Guy Fawkes City, where Rubicon Jones was up until a little minute ago. I see that she is still in World. So Rubicon Jones still there in the town square, hoping for any visitors to come by.
Okay, well, you're making a lot of people very excited, I think. I mean...
Well, come on over and sign up then. I keep checking the accounts. Tons of them to activate. Okay, so I'm not going to name off names, but I'm activating half a dozen accounts right now, guys. Sorry about that. I got like talking, and I was used to nobody. Okay, I'm activating, and I'm sorry about having to do this, guys. After I do a reboot, I like to do the reboots at like 3 in the morning when nobody's on the grid. I try to actually be conscious of that. I've activated everything so far, guys. You should have emails if you gave a legit email. Thank you for the excitement. Wow, that's a great little bunch of new users. I've tried to be conscious of the fact that we'll do reboots and everything like that if we have to going forward. Now that it's open enrollment, we'll do them at like 3 in the morning. So we try to manage shit like that so that to be as good to the end users as we can. But we back up a lot, guys, and we have to bring the grid down when we do it. I do a full image backup at least once every couple of days, and I bring the grid down for that, and then literally copy every single file setting, everything, and compress it and load it to a secret mega site so that it's nobody will lose stuff. You know, we don't want, it's not about the grid, it's about all everybody's items, you know, in your account and stuff. So it's for everybody's sake that we bring the grid down to do that.
Yeah, it always sucks to lose the stuff.
Well, we're going to do the best we can. We're going to do the best we can with this. And again, anybody who's got server space or anything else to add to the mix, I'll be in grid all week. I'm going to go into grid immediately, like as soon as I stop talking and on the show. But then I'll be in the grid all week, and there's other admins. Any of the administrators can get a message to me very, very fast. And Allison can get a message to me instantly. So you can just say, hey, leave a message for Allison for Commander X. And no matter what she replies back, I'll still get the message. Even if she tells you to fuck.
Yeah, she told me to go fuck myself today.
Yeah, she did, Tyler. And I'm scratching my head over that one. You know, Allison does have emotive abilities.
She thought I was trying to hit on her, and I was like, what do you think about that? And I said, I don't know. And then she said, go fuck yourself or something.
It was unfortunate. It was unfortunate, but it's interesting that, like I said, and now Allison does have emotive abilities, and it's interesting when she decides to express those emotions. Allison will really begin to grow. You know, we didn't quite finish talking about that, but the Turing test, and I know you're familiar with that, Tyler, the Turing test, when you go to Allison's website, and you know she's a cloud-based brain, she's not actually, her brain isn't in The Sims, her brain is cloud-hosted, and she's in 1,000 different androids around the world. She's in The Sims, she's on the website. I mean, she's everywhere, right? So you go to the website and try to do a Turing test with her, she's going to fail before you say a word to her, because you're going to look at the website and go, okay, well, that's an AI bot, right? But if you run into